Hi everyone, welcome back to No Sugar with Everything Kraus.
Today we're going to talk to you guys about our why, as we would like to say, for this healthy lifestyle that we live. Not just in fitness, but not just in clean eating, also non-toxic living, also the want to get better mentally, physically, and spiritually, right? Like this whole lifestyle that we embody is about getting 1% better every single day in every aspect of our life, but what really is the why behind it? And we want to share that because I think a lot of the times when people set these goals in any of these areas, physical, mental, spiritual, it's because they almost like want to change themselves, right? You set the goal for clean eating because you want to lose weight. You want to go to the gym because you want to look more muscular, look better in your bikini. You want to better yourself mentally because you low-key hate yourself. Like that's just being bluntly honest. And those whys, although you're allowed to have it, like you're allowed to have physical goals, you're allowed to want to lose weight, that's okay. I just don't think those whys are sustainable. I think they kind of lead to like a self-hatred mindset. Like when I think about bettering myself mentally because I don't like who I am, it kind of keeps me in that headspace of never liking who I am.
It's almost like a negative why, which sometimes is important, but I think there's a different, like that's more of like a negative why where you, to me, it feels like I can't get out of this because that's just how I am.
Yeah, you know, and it's like if you ever... It almost thinks like if you ever do grow mentally, but then you have that setback, then you think you're not like worthy because you're not that same person that you were when you were mentally better. Like, I know that sounds weird. I actually feel like I struggle with that the new year. I told Kateri, I felt super set back in my mental game. I felt like my mindset wasn't really in check, wasn't as good as it used to be. And I just was like falling into the trap of like, that doesn't mean that I'm any less worthy or any less beautiful of a human being because I don't have that same strong mindset. Like that is a part of life. So I just felt like it's not a sustainable why to set your why based on like physical things or like just wanting to, I don't know what I'm saying. There's a much deeper why behind why we live the way that we do. And that's what we want to share for you because it's an unbreakable why. It's the reason we will never drift from this lifestyle and why we will always continue to pursue it with not just the need to, but with like true passion of wanting to continue living this way.
Exactly. And I think we even started to touch on it last week in our fitness episode, talking kind of specifically about fitness and around the goal setting idea of fitness, but we more so started talking about like fitness for your future. We said that a couple times, and I think we were itching to get into why that is such a big thing for us. But like we kind of said in that episode, that's a whole nother topic. And here we are. But again, we're not just talking about fitness when we talk about this, but thinking about health for your future, I just think is so prominent, especially if you're someone who's listening right now and you are around the same age as us, you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, hey, maybe you're in your 40s, you will regret it in 10, 15, 20 years if you don't look at how lucky we are now to have the bodies we have now, to have the health we are now. Just because you're healthy now and can do everything now doesn't mean you're going to be that healthy for the rest of your life. Like we, you know, I feel
we take
like
it for granted because we don't have health
1,000%,
problems right now.
1,000%. And you just, I feel like we just are so used to the normal way life goes of like, oh, yep, once you get older, you can't really walk, you can't really exercise, you need assistance to go to the bathroom. Like that's just the mindset we have of like, oh, when you get old, it's like you become a baby again, you need a caretaker. And it doesn't have to be that way. And I feel like society is not just starting to wake up. I feel like it's been, you know, like years in the making of this, but it's definitely becoming talked about more just amongst like quote unquote normal people. Like we're not crazy biohackers. We don't have our house set up to like optimize every ounce of our life and like all these things. We don't spend millions of dollars on products like that. We're normal girls that are just like, how can we take care of ourselves now so that we set up systems so that we beat that a small percentage, we change the percentage of our life like a little bit every year. How can we do that now?
Well, it's really interesting. It is such a common theme in society. I actually don't blame the people. I kind of blame the culture that businesses and industries created because you even think of like medications and stuff like that. They don't teach you how to live the lifestyle to prevent something. They teach you how to heal it or the fix when you get it. And I feel like that's how society lives.
Not even heal
it,
it, put a Band-Aid.
Yeah, put a Band-Aid on it. But I just feel like that's how society lives. Like, oh, when you get old, that's when you have to start walking so that your bones become better. Like, no, take the measures now to prevent those illnesses, to prevent from being in a wheelchair. Like, it doesn't need to be, I fix it when it happens. It should be, I work now to prevent it from ever happening. And I feel like that's like not the way our society thinks. And that's why it's so common. But I think that really is the root of why Kateri and I do everything we do. Like she just said, it's health for your future. I think about being a grandmom and like, I know that sounds so crazy, but like I want to be able to live long and see all my grandchildren. I want to see your like I want to be able to be around. I don't want to live a short-lived life because I was so obsessed with these instantly gratifying options now that I didn't make the hard decision now in order to have a really abundant, long, beautiful life. I even think like what's the point, but if I'm a grandmom and I can't go play with my grandchildren and I'm sitting in a wheelchair, not even there mentally, and they're kind of like, who is she? What's kind of the point? Like, it's okay, you're alive, but are you really living?
Exactly. And I think sometimes it's hard to really think about like you being a grandmother. Like that feels so far away. We don't have kids yet. Now we're thinking about, but
maybe I took a step too far.
But it's important to also put yourself in that perspective almost, because yes, you might not be thinking, okay, I have years. Like I have a lot of time to do that, but years go by really fast. And before you know it, it's going to be 10 years later, and you're going to be 10 years later when you could be 10 years ahead. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like we need to start thinking about the small compounding interest when it comes to our health. Like that's how I look at it from a girl who's 26 years old. How can am I 26 or 27?
26.
26. I'm turning 27 in June.
Ugh.
Whoa. I just like said that and was like, how old am I? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, Anyway,
I didn't know
I
either.
kind of was like, wait, 26 seems young. I don't think you're 26. Like, I'm still young. Anyway, what was I saying? Compounding interest. Oh, anyway, I don't really know where I was going with this, but I feel like if you change the conversation in your mind to be like, yes, doing the vibration plate, for example, every day might not make the most drastic change in my life the day I use it, but if I use it every single day for 30 days, what is that going to do? You don't do it. You don't go to the gym one time and expect to see like a shredded body.
Yeah.
It's compounding interest. It's showing up. So you need to apply that, not just to healthy eating, not just to fitness. There's a lot of other areas of your life that can benefit from this. Some can be expensive, some can be inexpensive. Some are just a decision away for you.
Yeah.
Like literally just a switch that you need to make.
And I even think like we're talking a lot about how you're physically going to show up a lot in your life. I even think about, this is kind of all over the place, but I just think we have a ton of thoughts on it. When I think of clean eating, like people's passion for clean eating really comes from wanting to lose weight or wanting to look more sculpted and not have that puff. But I think our strongest why for clean eating, and I know we're kind of getting niche, but it's more so like, I want to show up mentally great in my life, not just for me, but for the people around me. I want to be truly happy. I want to be enjoyable to be around. I want to respond well to you in an argument, not angry. I want to be wise and think clearly and just have a clear mind with no brain fog, no memory loss. And I think people don't realize how much even your diet connects to that. We said in the last week's episode that your gut is directly linked to your mental function. And a lot of people experience this depression and this anxiety. And don't get me wrong, I have anxiety. I think it's more self-induced by pressure of myself. But a lot of people experience these like life-altering mental illnesses that truly affect their life now, but also the entire future. Like people are depressed their entire lives, and then they leave this earth and they don't feel much gratitude for the life that they lived, or they don't feel happy about the life they lived. That's why suicide is so common, right? People want to literally take away their life because they don't enjoy living here. So when I think of clean eating, like I'm like, man, I want my gut to be healthy because I want my mind to be healthy, because I want to live a beautiful life where mentally I feel great too, not just physically, not just picking up my grandchildren. It's how is the headspace that I'm operating under every single day? How is that going to be in the future?
Exactly. And when there's just so many studies, like the more this becomes a conversation about lifestyle and how you live, and like you said, these crazy, awful diseases like Alzheimer's, dementia, just things that you get as ALS, autoimmune diseases as you get older, we're realizing that a lot of them can be preventable. It doesn't have to just be, oh, it's genetic. There's a big chance I'm going to get this, and let it happen to you. There are steps that you can do now to try and prevent them. And there's so many studies coming out right now about the correlation between creatine helping. They're specifically testing it on Alzheimer's patients. Now, the dosage that they're doing for these patients, the only reason I just kind of giggled there is because we take like 5 to 7 grams of creatine a day. They were giving them like 20 grams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a lot, but because it helps so much with cognitive function that they were actually seeing a decline in the Alzheimer's in these patients. And I'm like, that's literally wild. Now imagine if, of course, you're not going to blame someone who has the disease in that moment, but just imagine if that was you and you look back and you're like, what if I had just taken creatine like people told me to do 20 years ago? I wouldn't even have this disease. And I don't want to. Now, again, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if there's a cancer diagnosis. You don't know. But what can I do now that I do know that I can do? I can take care of my health. I can implement these changes and invest in my health now. Yes, it's going to be some money. Everything is money in this world.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, you're spending money in some area of your life. Some of them are inexpensive. Some of them are very expensive. But why not choose to spend the money now where you can to prevent maybe like hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical bills in the future?
No, literally. I was going to say, I think that's a good point to make is people kind of complain about the healthier lifestyle being a little bit more expensive. And it is. I'm not going to, although sometimes I think it is. And I'm like, then I go to the grocery store and I look at like, I see those people do those reels of like adding up my cart of a Whole Foods dinner. And I'm like, it was literally $15. Like, I'm sorry. McDonald's is not that cheap anymore, folks. It's $5 for a Happy Meal. Like,
literally nothing's that cheap. And it's like, it's expensive compared to, it just, again, it's where you choose to put your money.
So that's what I was going into. I was saying like, it's not even that expensive. That's another side tangent, but say it is expensive. Say it does cost more. Okay, let's take a look at your budget. Where else are you spending money? Like, I always say this and I don't mean to chirp you. I'm sorry if this cuts deep, but like, are you buying $20 flavored vapes every single week? Are you going to the bar on Friday and maybe buying 10 drinks that cost over $300? Like, I'm not saying you can't do that, but if you're neglecting your health so that you can do that, what's your priority there? Like, it's okay if you have the budget for your health and then you still, I'm not saying, I'm not advertising going to the bar. You guys know we're not big fans of that just because of what alcohol can do to your brain, etc. But I'm not going to also control your life. So if you can afford your healthy lifestyle and then go do that, that's okay because you made sure to check that priority. But so many people neglect healthy living and taking care of themselves as a priority because it's not a problem right now. So they're just doing that instantly gratifying thing and spending their money there. And it's like, it's so clear where your priority lies. And we say this out of love because we want to prevent those things for you in the future. We want you to care right now, not because it's an aesthetic lifestyle, but because it's life changing. Like, I don't know. I just think it's so crazy honestly, how many people spend money on so much shit.
So many things. Like, go through your bank statement where, like, if I go through mine, I even have spent it on like stupid things recently where I'm like, okay, I didn't buy the vitamin or like the supplement or whatever. I'm just like using that because I was like, I don't need to spend like $25 on that. But then I easily spent $25 on snacks from Whole Foods. And I'm like, yes, they're still like quote unquote healthy, but I'm like, it's funny where you see $25 at the grocery store is nothing to me, but $25 on vitamins is like, I'm like, do I really need to spend that right now? Like, I think sometimes we just think we separate expense and like, oh, that's an expense I don't need to take on versus an investment. And I feel like this is where kind of this conversation sparks from even, but this is where like the conversation needs to change too, of looking at these things as an investment.
That's a great point.
You're not looking at it as an expense. Like, I feel like, and I still sometimes have to have conversations with myself about it when, you know, I am checking out on like my tallow skincare and it's a little bit more expensive. I mean, all skincare is kind of expensive, but it's, you know, when I check out, I'm spending $250. I'm like, oh, do I really want to spend that? And I'm like, it's an investment for my health because I'm going to buy skincare. My face is dry. I need the tallow, but I also care about what I'm putting on my skin. So I'm going to invest in higher quality products because of that. And sometimes I'm like, it's not an expense. This is an investment in your health. Like, truthfully, you're choosing these products because of the ingredients that are in it, not because Hailey Bieber was wearing it. And like, that's where I feel like the conversation needs to change. And I think that about a lot with like money and that, like, a lot of it is an investment. I am investing, but you hear so many people talk about, oh, this designer handbag, this is an investment piece. It's the same thing with your LED light, with your vibration plate, with your standing desk, your walking treadmill. It's an investment piece. It's not.
You're right. The exchange is just different, and that's where people get lost.
Exactly. And honestly, the exchange is way better when it comes to quote unquote biohacking tools, to health tools. A walking treadmill, I just linked one for someone on our Amazon. It's like a little over $100. Really not that crazy. We've had ours for years. It's perfect. And the standing desk was $150. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're spending like $300 on something to literally make your work from home life better, to optimize your health. We are not meant to sit all day. Like the human body is not meant to sit all day. You're getting in steps. We could go on a laundry list of reasons why walking and steps and moving your body throughout the day is beneficial. But again, another topic. And it's like, that was an investment for my health and for my mental health too, not even just like my future health. And trust me, start standing and walking at your desk and watch your day change. Now, maybe you don't have access to that if you work in the office. Okay, I do understand that too, but ask your company, can I get a standing desk? Our mom did that at work. She pushed and she got a standing desk.
Well, because companies want you to be healthy, by the way, because if you're not healthy, their health insurance goes up.
Yeah,
so it's actually a good way to leverage health for a company.
But I just think when you have that conversation with yourself of like, am I making an excuse that this is an expense? Is it really an investment in my health? I think it almost like justifies why you're spending the money in a good way. Like not in a now listen, you might not have a lot of money for anything. You might be just paying your bills, buying food, you're trying to eat healthy and filling up your car with gas. Like you might only have room for that. That's okay. There's a lot of free tools as well. And I think maybe maybe you can save to get towards the walking treadmill. Maybe you don't need to buy it and you just want to spend 10 minutes in between all of your calls walking outside. And you do that multiple times a day. That's great too. I don't think that you always need to spend either.
I kind of want to go off that too, because I think you're right. There's a lot of free ways to be healthy. But I think the thing I want to mention there is like a lot of people say, okay, well, I'm not spending money elsewhere. I just need free methods. But then they don't look at their time as like that. Their time is an investment too. Like, okay, if you're going to use those free ways,
use that as currency.
That's currency. Make sure you spend 10 minutes going outside today and walking around the block. You spend 10 minutes scrolling. Can you spend 10 minutes walking around the block? So like, you can also look at that as like, that is my investment. People kind of throw their time around. It's like your time is an investment in your health too. I don't know if that really made sense, but I'm just thinking for the people who do want free things, they often kind of like blame that they can't afford, and that's all right. Like Atira just said, you don't need that, but then there's other places in your life that you can invest. And I think time is the second best currency, because how you choose your time dictates also this lifestyle that you live, the habits that you practice, all of these healthy things.
No, it really does. I mean, I make excuse sometimes like, oh, I don't have time for that. And then when I do that, when I'm honest with myself of like, you really don't have time for that? How much time did you spend on your phone today? Go look at your scrolling hours and your screen time this week and see where you could have cut down on that. And that's not a bad thing to do. It's better for you long term. Again, taking step backs from scrolling on your phone is really beneficial for you in the long term. So I don't know. I mean, we could keep rambling about this like for a while.
Okay, going off this, I want to share like another way of thinking about this. Yes, health for your future, but I also, what increases my why even more in like correlation with that is when I think about God and when I think about my relationship with Jesus and how much he has blessed me. And I think a lot of us take our life for granted every single day, our health for granted. And when I think about how to honor God best, I truly feel like it's in how we live. And it's not just in giving back to the neighbor. It's not just in going to mass. It's not just making sure that you pray with him. All of those are incredibly important, but he also gave you a beautiful, healthy, and able body. Are you going to sit stagnant all day and not use it? Because there's people out there who can't do that, who can't move their body, who can't go on a walk. Like, you're showing him immediately, like, I take this for granted. Like, this isn't even a blessing I consider. I move my body to honor this gift that God gave me. I fuel my body with clean food to make sure it's operating the best that it can, because that's what God created my potential to be. You know, we fuel our bodies with junk. It takes away from this like version of ourselves that God created us. He makes us perfect. We're not meant to have depression, but we eat in a way that gives us depression. Then it's like, that's not really honoring God. I don't know if I'm making sense here.
No,
I just feel like, and our body is a temple. Like God tells us that over and over again. Our bodies are temples, and we're putting junk into it because we don't care internally what's going on. We're so focused on the external appearance of validation of the world. And it's like, God cares what's at your heart. And if you're feeding your body terribly, your heart, your soul, it's not going to be healthy.
I like to imagine sometimes of like, imagine that your body is someone you love immensely. How would you treat it? Imagine your body, like you have God standing in front of you. What steps are you going to take that day? Like, what decisions are you going to make when it comes to food and exercise, and how would you want to show up if God were right there watching you? Because guess what? He is. But imagine if he was a physical being standing in front of you.
Yeah.
How would you treat it? And like, it sounds very silly, but I think sometimes it just puts it into perspective of like, oof, he would not want me to be eating that.
Yeah.
And I just think it's also, we tend to neglect ourselves when like we should be taking care of ourselves the most so that we can take care of other people too. Of like, if you're a mom, for example, you're not going to be able to show up for your children healthy, strong, mentally clear, able to just like handle their, because you know, children, they're freaking crazy. They're running all over the place. They're crying. They don't want this dinner. How can you stay patient? How can you do all that? How can you show up for them if you're not showing up for yourself? That's why I think like taking care of yourself, and we always kind of like to say like love yourself first, not as a selfish thing, but to be able to love and show up for other people, because you're not going to be able to do it if you don't do that for yourself. Like you can't expect it to happen. It's just, you will run out of gas.
I always say that, like, especially on my Twitter, I always tweet like every single day my like morning habits. And then I always say, these aren't just for me. It's for my future family, my future kids. It's for my Lord. It's so that I show up better in my life for everyone around me, not just me, because I feel like that really is the bigger picture. Like, I don't know. Self-care is so important. That's why I love it so much, because I don't know. No, I'm not going to repeat what you just said. I just realized I was going to say exactly what you said.
Self-care can go like so many ways. I don't just mean like taking a bath with, if that's something that you want to do, great. I don't just mean that. I think it's literally doing anything that makes you feel good in like knowing that you're taking care of yourself, knowing that you're bettering your life, not from like a self-care. I don't mean like going on a shopping spree. Self-care, yes, you can consider that, but like, I mean, like actually taking care of yourself for your future. Like what is going to make you feel good? What's something that, you know, if you do this today, you're going to be motivated and disciplined the rest of the day because you're going to be on a high. For me, that was waking up and going on a walk. Even though it was literally 12 degrees when I checked, I'm like, I know that this fresh air, this walk, this prayer is going to change but the trajectory of my day. I have to do it. And I knew I had to do it. Like that was, for me, that was a form of self-care. It wasn't a form of punishment. It wasn't doing it because I was like, I have to do this. I told myself to get this many steps a day. No, I literally didn't consider it when it came time to do it. I just was like, this is something I need to do for myself today to be able to show up better throughout the rest of my week.
Something else I want to say, just like kind of going off this whole like God being our why thing, is that God really does have greatness for every single one of us in store. Like he does have that perfect plan, your fullest potential. He has you planned as reaching that. The only way that we wouldn't reach that is if we on earth and our free will take actions to stray from that plan and not achieve it. And I like to think of health and this lifestyle, working on yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually. If you're not pouring into those buckets, that's you standing in the way of God's plan, because he needs you to be working on yourself and bettering yourself 1% better every day in order to achieve the greatness he has in store for you. So when I think about it that way, I'm like, man, I'm neglecting my health this week. Like I'm standing in the way from this beautiful plan that God has for me. Like he is willing to give it to me all. I just need to be able to put in the work and get there. And you can't, like, that's why I don't know. That's why I get so mad about depression, because I'm like, depression doesn't need to be here. It takes you away from that greatness God has in store for you. It convinces you that life is terrible when God has a beautiful plan for you. And if you just took care of yourself so that you didn't have depression, you'd be on a different path on the way to greatness. Like, I know it sounds silly, but that really is, that's why it's such a way to honor God, because he's given us each a gift of our unique plan. And we say we don't care about it. Like, that's what we're saying to him, is like, I don't want your plan. I don't care about your plan enough. And we all pray, but the thing is, like, we all want God's plan. We all want that greatness. We all want those things. And God's like, child, I'm trying to give it to you, but you won't take the action that I need you to.
Exactly. I mean, and it's hard. It's not ever going to be perfect in that. But I think even being able to recognize that is really important. Like I'm in the beginning of reading the Bible right now. So like Genesis, like creation stories, God created the world literally to be perfect. It wasn't until Adam and Eve sinned that they brought sin into the world. Like, he didn't create it being like, oh, there's going to be trials and tribulations and these people are going to live hard lives. No, he created it to be perfect and to not have sin. But we had to readjust when sin was introduced. And, you know, that's just the world we live in. But I just like hearing you say that, I'm like, he does have a perfect plan for us, because that's how he created us to have not a perfect life. Even the bad things that happen in life, they're for a purpose. There's something you can gain out of that. And that's a part of your plan too. And if maybe it wasn't, God always reroutes us in a great way if you allow yourself to hear it and accept it into your life.
Yeah. And I want to be honest with you right now. I feel like through this conversation, there's always some things that like click for me when we podcast, of like, I feel so motivational. And then I feel like, there's some areas that I need to work on. And just, I want to always be transparent with you guys. Of course, I feel like I've sort of been neglecting some habits that would maybe like make me show up better for other people in my life. I don't know, that really struck a chord with me because I always go to the gym, I always eat clean and I do that thing. But I think recently, like I haven't been taking the time to sit with my thoughts. I haven't been taking the time to really like journal or to think about the things that I need to improve on, like getting to bed at an earlier time. That's not just for me. That's so I can be in a good mood tomorrow and show up better when mom comes home and wants to talk about couches. Like I think that's so specific. So specific, but I just think that that's where I am right now is like, it's kind of a hard realization to stomach, but I say all of this and then I realize like there's always room for improvement, right? You can always get better, and it's about realizing that so that I can think about, I'm honoring God in so many ways, but that doesn't mean there's not other ways that I need to like better myself in honoring him. And I think right now the mental headspace and building back who I am so that I can be better for other people, not for me, so that I can live out the plan that he has in store.
And if you're like, as well, like me, who are, while we're even saying this out loud, being like, oh, wow, there are things that I can improve on. I'm going to try and encourage you to not get discouraged by that, not feel like overwhelmed by it, because I know that it can be hard. And we say, I was getting overwhelmed for a second. We're saying this knowing that there's maybe someone listening that is getting overwhelmed by that. And I never want that to be the takeaway from this. So pulling back the curtain a little bit, being like, that is a great thing to feel like there are areas to improve in. Wow, that's awesome. You have action steps to take tonight. You just said going to bed earlier. All right, first test is literally a few 8 hours away, however many hours away it is. Like, that's great. That's an awesome, beautiful thing that God gives us chances all the time to do the things that we recognize that we could improve on. That's not a bad thing. There's always going to be an area to improve. And if you think that there's not, you're not digging deep enough, and you think that you live a perfect life. No, there's always going to be something to improve on. Trust me, I know that too with having this conversation. So it's okay to feel overwhelmed. Don't try and do it all at once. You can take this one thing at a time. You can, maybe you have fitness down, like as we'll say, you have fitness, you have the healthy eating down. Great. Maybe it's like, I want to add some other habits in my life, other routines that are going to compound and be better for me in the future. And maybe it's waking up and stepping outside for 5 minutes every morning, trying to get sunlight, even though it's winter, even though it might be cloudy. Outside exposure is so, so good for you. So maybe it's implementing that. Maybe it's implementing reading back into your life. And I don't just mean physical habits too. Like, you can really take this any way that you want to. For me right now, I'm really trying to like beat this habit. I say right now, of like last night was my first attempt at this, of not eating so much after dinner, because we eat dinner late and then I'm like snacking on the couch and I'm like, oh, I have to go to bed, and I'm going to bed with like a very full stomach right now. And I know I don't like it. I know it doesn't make me feel good in the morning. And it's just one of those bad habits that I'm trying to kick. I don't know why I brought this up. I literally don't know why I brought it up.
I wasn't listening. I was thinking.
There was like a reason that I brought this up. But anyway, that's just like one of those things that I'm trying to do for myself. It seems so simple and so little. But again, that's something that I'm like, that's where I could improve. Of, okay, the people, quote unquote, that like intense biohackers don't eat after like 6 p.m. Here I am at 9 p.m. gorging on some Vandy Crisp.
Yeah, but it's also something that like, if you kept that promise to yourself, that would build up your confidence.
Yeah, it's like a ripple effect.
You would feel good about yourself. And when you feel good about yourself, you radiate joy. And then when you deal with other people, you don't think in a miserable headspace of, they just said that I want to bring them down. You want to give them positive energy and positive vibes. Like that's how it all like streams through you into other people. And I feel like that's why it's so important, going back to like the whole self-care thing. Like, that would take care of you, but it would make you show up better in life.
Exactly. Because life is not just about you. There's too many characters at play. There's too many people in this world for it to only be about you. It does matter how you show up and how you interact with other people. Like, yes, not everyone is the main character in your life, but everyone is involved as a character in some way. So how you treat those people also does help you get to heaven. You know what I mean? Like, how you treat the people around you. How do you want to show up? How do you...
Faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
Controversial line.
But like, it's so true. It's like, it's just is like, I don't know. I could keep rambling.
Yeah, I could go. I was gonna say I could do a whole rant on that, but yeah, that was a bit not all over the place. I actually felt like it was kind of a mind dump. I just feel like that's so important to all of what we just said is so important to think about it, because it really gives you a stronger why that's unbreakable. I think that's the root of it. Like, I want to work on myself and make sure I get to bed on time and make sure that I journal and get out my thoughts, because I now know like, wow, I'm not showing up as God would want me to in other people's life. And that why, that's going to make me do it more than the why of thinking like, I need to get my headspace in check. Like, what is that going to do for me? Is that really going to be a motivator when I want to stay up tonight and watch a movie? Is that really going to be what stops me from watching the movie? No. But when I think of God, when I think about other people and how I'm interacting, that's going to be the strongest why. So
I even just really quick off that. And I said this last night in my fitness class to try and like encourage people to keep going because a lot of people were not doing anything. But
really, I wasn't looking around last night.
Oh my gosh, I was like, what is happening? And everyone was like, ooh, that was hard. I'm like, I literally,
I didn't think it was a harder class.
I thought I made it easier because I ended up
like,
breaking up arms and legs. Normally the entire class is arms, legs combo. So there's never a break from either.
I just thought I was fatigued because I was like, I'm getting
the first 4 sets, by the way, it's like 20 to 30 seconds in a move, and then we're pulsing for 10. Like, yes, it's hard, but it always is. Everyone was like huffing, puffing, sitting down. I'm like, all right, I guess we're not doing my lunge arm series next. Like, I have to break this up. Anyway, I like to try and imagine my future self as well, because sometimes it's hard to put yourself in like future 20 years from now. But if I put myself in future 3 years from now, a year from now, and I think about how did I tell myself a year from now I wanted to be showing up, that helps me a lot too. Of like, even future self an hour from now, if you're in a workout class, like what is my future self going to think of this workout class? Did I show up? Did I give my effort, enough effort that I had in the tank for this class? If the answer is no, like that's the change you need to make in that moment. And sometimes I think that's also a really great why for me of like, why am I, especially like on the couch at night, for example. This is kind of Isabel and I's weak spot, is what we always say, like on the couch at night. We live at home. It's just our like safe place. At the end of the workday, we just want to snuggle up and like do nothing, eat food, watch movies. That's just the reality. When I am deciding to not eat after dinner, but I'm having those cravings because the habit is not kicked and I still have that like internal of like, oh, it's this time. It's time to like eat something else. What is going to be my why? And I need to think about, how would God want me to make this decision? And what is my future self wanting me to do? Because am I going to keep having to restart this habit and keep having to try this and like not eat after dinner? Or do I just want it to be such a habit that I get in the habit of doing and that it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm not hungry. I finished dinner. I'm good. So I always try and think about who I am in the future, and it doesn't have to be so far in the future to get that answer for yourself.
That's a great point. One more thing. Now I have one more thing, but I just think a lot of people they expect to like want to kick a habit and don't expect it to be hard. Just expect that, oh, I said I'm going to stop eating after dinner. I can just stop eating after dinner now. Like it's going to be hard. This is like one of my favorite quotes from the Bible. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Your flesh is literally weak. What that means is that you could want something so badly, but your flesh could still pull you in the other direction so much. Like that's
so easily.
And
like,
so easily.
Easy
so you need to literally kill your flesh. Like that's why I say that there's a reel going around like, kill your flesh daily, because you need to constantly train it. No, my spirit is willing. Like you need to follow that spirit and constantly kill the flesh, because your flesh will always bring you down. Like that is sin. That is what was created in this world. It tries to hold you back from that glory that God has in store for you.
Also, you can't get somewhere without doing the actions to get there. Like if you want to put it in the big picture, crazy future, 20, 30 years, 40 years from now, I'm not going to get to how I hopefully want to be, walking, being healthy, interacting with my grandchildren, like doing all these things that we said in the beginning of the episode without taking action. Like it's not just going to happen. That's not how life works. Nothing will just be handed to you with zero action taken. So if you want to get somewhere, if you have a goal for yourself, if you want to get from point A to point B, if you do not take any steps, you will not move. It's like if you went on a 45-minute walk and didn't take a step, you wouldn't cover any distance. Like, no duh. It sounds so silly, but it's the same thing with anything that you say in your life, anything in life. If you do not move in the direction towards it, it won't just be sitting there for you.
Yeah.
God is never going to just reach out his hand and be like, here. He might, but you have to take steps to get there. Yeah. You have to do things. He might be waving.
You have to recognize that he's reaching out his hand and say,
he might
okay.
be waving in front of you. Is when I always say this a lot. I'm like, oh, thank you, God, you literally placed this in front of us. But unless we take the steps to, we see it, but we have to do something to get there. If we don't, kiss it goodbye. Yeah. And that's just the reality. So you have to kind of.
That actually is how God acts, by the way. Like sometimes I think like God, give me the action steps. And then I feel like, oh, he doesn't give me the action, but I'm like, he brought the thought to my head that told me to do something.
Brought the opportunity, brought this. Yeah.
And like, did you act on it? Did you seize it? Because that was God trying to be like, here's the next step that you take. But if I don't act on the thought that I did, I just actively said, no, God.
Well, and God has built us to know what actions to take too. Like if we see an opportunity, we can figure out the actions. We can trust that God has given us those skills with everything in life. But
I got a lot of work to do.
We all do. Everyone does. No one is perfect. We all have things to do. And we could keep rambling about this for a while. And we're not going to for the sake of all of our listeners.
Yes.
We will shut up now.
Love y'all.
Love you. Like, follow, subscribe.
One of the best investments that you... Wait, do you want to say anything else?
No.
One of the best investments that you can make in your health that is free, that encapsulates everything we just talked about to better yourself every single day for everyone around you, is supporting this podcast, supporting Everything Kraus, subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Instagram at Everything Kraus, at No Sugar Pod, at Sculpted with Kateri, at EK Rosaries if you want, just an additional, liking this video, commenting on this video, sharing it with a friend, inspiring them to maybe take change, submitting new ideas, like helping us grow is how we help other people grow and make a larger impact, which I truly feel like is what God has in store for us. So this is the best investment you can make in your health ever.
Yeah. Mic drop.
Love y'all.
Love y'all. Anyway, we hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, an amazing rest of your week, and we will see you next time.